Welcome to the channel, guys. Another video coming at you on the Cobalt motor. I wanted to do a vlog on the Ram, but it kind of rained there for a little bit and it started to get sunny out now, as you can see. But everything's all wet and obviously the truck stuff's wet. So don't really want to get into that today, but definitely stay tuned because there is going to be a video dropping on the truck. And I know a lot of you guys are missing videos with the truck, so I'm going to try and get some more content out on the truck. But tonight's video is going to consist of the car motor. And you might be looking at this, if you've seen the past videos and you've seen what the engine consisted of, you might be thinking, well, there wasn't cams in before. And the cam chain and all that stuff wasn't in before. So yes, you are correct. All that stuff was added. We have the cams are put in officially, and I ordered new cam sprockets as well. The whole timing kit, which I had that prior. We have the thermostat housing, the water pump. All that is officially back on the motor and installed. This already was, but I put in the new thermostat and the top of the housing. And obviously we got the new water pump. So what we're gonna do in today's video is gonna be putting on the valve cover and putting on the front cover. This valve cover is extremely dirty and just looks like absolute horse shit, and it could definitely use some TLC. I really just wish I had a new one at the snap of a finger. Would you look at that? There it is. Brand spanking new valve cover. Don't have to do any work to it. Awesome. Do I have magical powers? Heck to the no, I wish I did. So, unfortunately I do not, obviously. It was a joke, but this is a brand new valve cover, which looks amazing. Thought about painting it, but I'm honestly thinking I'm gonna just go with a sleek and clean look, which this is totally rocking that. And it also came with, one, it came with the gaskets. Two, it came with brand new bolts for the entire thing, which I thought was incredible because usually they don't send all that stuff with the cover, or any cover for that matter. Like the front cover here, I had to order the gasket separately. So just one of those things that was really cool. And I will include the link for that in the description as well. I got that from enginecratedepot.com, and it really wasn't priced all that bad either. It really wasn't that expensive. It was so much easier and cheaper for me to just buy a new one than try and clean that hunk of junk right there. So not even gonna mess with that. Brand spanking new. It's gonna pull the whole motor together, look amazing. Still need to get some plugs for it though, so I'm gonna work on that, but one thing at a time. So just gonna make sure, do a final check, and make sure that everything is done in the top end here. The plugs can obviously go in after the fact, so that's not a huge deal. But before I continue going any further with that squeaky ass wheel, one thing that I do want to mention, you may be asking, how do you time this? Well, obviously you're gonna have some marks on the chain, which right there's your first one for the intake and your exhaust, and then you're gonna have one down here on the crank, and your crank keeper or key right there is gonna be basically at about 12 o'clock, but you need to make sure you are on top dead center on cylinder number 1, and both of your cams, so no valves are gonna be open on both of your cams. Now, you may be seeing this and saying, oh, well, it's not even timed right. The balance shafts and the water pump, we had timed everything correctly and had everything timed, but what we went ahead and did, and some people say you shouldn't do it, but we went ahead and just turned the motor a few times just to make sure everything worked smooth and no valve contact with the pistons, any of that happened, and it did not. Everything is smooth, and that's what we wanted to make sure of. So we checked that, and obviously with the whole chain running through the engine, you're not gonna come back with everything. You're gonna have to turn it so many times until it comes right back to where it was. And with me running neutral balance shafts, it honestly really doesn't matter as far as timing for those go, because they don't have the stock balance shafts and they're completely smooth and round the entire way. So that is basically where we're at here. Got all the tensioners in and the chain guides. Water pump is officially in, so the front cover can go on. And I believe the valve cover as well is ready to go on. But before we do anything, we're gonna jump right in and take out that bolt and then put in our new keeper for the chain guide. So here we have the piece, and basically if you go from where my thumb is right there and you get rid of all that, that's what you probably had before, and now we added that, and that is basically just going to go right in the hole where that bolt is currently and replace the bolt so we won't have an issue with it breaking. So I'll get that bolt out and we'll throw that in, find the torque spec on it, and get it all buttoned up. Alright, bolt is removed. Time to put this in, and it has red Loctite on it the way it looks with a washer. So we'll go ahead and make sure that the hole is lined up, which it is, and start to thread this in. Maybe. There it goes, I believe. And finally got that torqued, so that is at 66 foot-pounds according to the instructions that ZZP sent with the timing kit. So I don't know if they actually used the same plug, but it's still the same, going in the same threads and everything, so it should be the same. And if we look down in the top there, you can just barely see that it's going straight through into the guide. So definitely what we want for that. And now we can basically throw on the front cover and throw on the valve cover. I'm going to start from the top, work my way to the bottom. So we'll get the valve cover up here first. And like I said, they did send new bolts, as I am doing this one-handed, which with the new bolts in there might kind of hinder this a little bit. And it's definitely sitting fairly decent, other than trying to line everything up. So I went ahead, took out all the bolts, just so I could get it to sit down flat and flush, just so I could see if anything was wrong or needed to be changed. And it sits down great and just looks amazing. This is just looking so clean. The whole motor is going to be so clean, and I love it. Not that I don't like the color schemes that a lot of people do, because some of those do definitely look sick, but I definitely like the clean look that I'm going with this, and I think it's going to turn out really great. So now what I can begin to do is put in all the bolts and find the torque spec for these. I don't remember what these are off the top of my head. Get the torque spec for these, get all these in, get it torqued down, and then we can go back down to the front cover. Okay, so just an error that I found in the Haynes repair manual that I have. It says for the torque of these, for these little bolts for the valve cover, which I didn't do it because it didn't sound right to me, it says 71 foot-pounds. That is a lot of torque for that, considering that big bolt there only got torqued to 66. So that just seems like a lot to me. And I got to looking in here, and right there you can clearly see 2.0 engine, valve cover bolts go straight across 71. those say inch pounds, and it says foot pounds up here unless otherwise indicated. So basically, the reason that I figured this all out was if you come over to where it says valve cover bolts again, and I'm sorry for the lighting, and when you go over to the where it says 89 inch pounds, you go over to Newton meters, it says 10 for both of those, which are 89 inch pounds. This is 71, and it says 9 Newton meters. So that tells me that is 71 inch pounds, and they did not clarify that. They stated it as foot pounds, so that is a big, huge error in their book, because if somebody just goes by their book and does that, they're going to snap every single one of those off. And hopefully they stop by the first one that they snap off, but then it's stuck in the head. So definitely just make sure that you double check everything, and double check, because I cannot stress that enough. This stuff is a great tool, but everybody makes errors, everybody makes mistakes. So not sure what happened there, but it's obviously incorrect, and it's supposed to be 71 inch pounds. So I'm going to set my torque wrench to 71 inch pounds and tighten them all up. That way I don't snap them off at 71 foot pounds. So we are complete with the valve cover, and these are torqued to 71 inch pounds, not foot pounds. So we're good to go with that. Gonna get the front cover, throw it on there. You have a dowel here and a dowel here, or keepers, or whatever you want to call them. I call them dowels. So we have two right there that we can line up, sit the front cover on there first, and then put all the bolts in and torque everything. And then you also have a pulley that goes on here as well, in basically in this kind of area here. So we'll get that on here right now. And like I said, I ordered a gasket with it too. This is going to be a little hard. There we go. Get it around the shaft. And it's on both dowels. It's on that one. Push it a little bit, and it's also on that one. So then what we can do is you can go back. Hopefully you know where your bolts are for it. And here we go, front cover bolts. And actually I have two out from when I took them out yesterday, because I did have it on here for the time being. And you can go ahead and just start them in there. This long bolt goes in this hole right here, which goes in through, and I believe it threads into the back of the water pump. So we'll thread that one in and basically get all these other ones out of the bag. And these are all the same. So we'll just get them all in here. And like magic, they are all in and ready to be torqued. So we'll come over to the manual here. And let's see. And right here, engine front cover perimeter bolts, 18 foot pounds. And we'll double check 25 Newton meters. That sounds right. So we will grab our handy dandy torque wrench, and I'll have to find the size for those, but we will torque those to, double checking again, engine front cover perimeter bolts, 18 foot pounds. And just like that, all the bolts are torqued. And I always do a kind of star pattern, so I would have started here, and then I went up here, then maybe came back over here, back down here, and just kept going across. So it tightens down evenly. Kind of like you did with the head, which that is a big deal. You got to make sure you do that. So basically from this point, now the valve cover is on and the front cover is on, really I can get my ATI balancer and the intercooler pump. A bunch of this stuff is ready to be mounted now, so we're ready for a ton more parts. And I actually have the alternator and stuff over here and the brackets and stuff, and actually the engine mount is here. So a bunch of that stuff can go on and get patched up. I know I have to put that plug in there, which is right there. So we're in the home stretch. We're getting very, very close. It is definitely starting to look a lot like a motor now, which is such a big relief. There's still a ton of work to be done yet, but it is getting very, very close. And like I said, a lot of work to do, but getting very close. Just glad it's timed. Mostly all the engine on the inside is finished, and now everything just needs to get buttoned up on the outside. I do have to order spark plugs and everything yet, but this is getting somewhere, starting to finally look like something, and not just an open head with no cams and stuff that it sat around looking like for months. So definitely in the home stretch now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to share, subscribe. If you have anything to say about the video, any comments in general about any of my videos, or anything you would want to recommend me doing a video on, be sure to drop it below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.